Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, we are going to be continuing my 3-game match reviews. Yes, 3-game match reviews. Here we are for another very big 3 games. I'll tell you, these 3 games are very big. We learned a lot more about teams. And this is the final match reviews of the bye round, and then next week we'll be back to 3 as all teams play. We're having a look at round 15 in this round as well. But anyway, on to the match reviews. We had West Coast versus Geelong, GWS versus Western Bulldogs, Gold Coast versus Adelaide, and I'll tell you, these were some very big games with a lot in them and a lot to break down. So let's just go ahead, start right into things with West Coast versus Geelong at Optus Stadium in the Saturday twilight time slot. Alright, so at Optus Stadium is where we went for Saturday twilight footy, and it was West Coast 9963 who put up a very bold effort against the Cats 12-9-81. The Cats sneaking home by 18 points. I'm not sure if this was the result that we had anticipated for this game. I know myself tipped the Cats by a fairly big margin. I know I wasn't the only one, but after the bye with some premiership stars back, West Coast came out and really gave it a red hot go, and they were without McGovern for most of the game. And they were in this game. They fought really hard in this game and never gave up, despite, even though they may have been down by a fair bit. The first half, the Cats didn't get off to any sort of a flyer, but the Eagles do sometimes normally restrict teams in the first quarter. The Cats, however, still got 4 goals in the first term to the Eagles 2. Then the second quarter, the Cats built out to about a 26-point lead or 25-point lead, and they were all over the Eagles at that stage, and it was like, all right, here we go. We know what to expect from here. The Eagles just go back, bang, 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 to be level with the Cats at half-time. Yes, to be level. They were equal on 41 apiece, and then the third quarter, the Cats just dealt the damaging blow, which almost sealed it. And in the final term, the Eagles just weren't strong enough. They looked like they were going to come back. They gave it a chance, and they kicked a goal, but the Cats kicked 1 goal late back just to ensure that they won the game. It wasn't the most convincing of efforts, but they got the job done. Tyson Stengel, 3 goals was good. Cam Guthrie, 13 tackles and 126 AFL fantasy. And Andrew Gaff, 27 disposals. Nicely done by the senior Eagle. Now to the AFL fantasy we go, where 126 for Guthrie, as I said, 106 for Redden, 93 for Atkins, 91 for Hearn and Cripps, 90 for Tui, 88 for Waterman and Menengola. Now 2 goals and behinds we go, where 3 goals for Stengel and Hawkins. Tomahawk kicked his 700th goal in this game. 2 for Kennedy, Waterman, Cripps, Menengola, and then everybody else got the ones. So Jeremy Cameron was kept quiet with just a 1 goal. Andrew Gaff, 27 disposals. Guthrie was influential with 25. 24 for the following, Redden, Selwood, Atkins, and then 22 for Yo Smith, 21 for Duggan and Tui. Hearn, Sheed, and Shuey and Menengola got plenty of ball with 20 and 19. Cameron got 19 and Duncan as well. Now to the marks where we go. So 11 for Hearn, 10 for Barras and Zach Guthrie, 9 for Yo and Tui, 8 for Waterman, 7 for Menengola. Now to the tackles where we go, where Guthrie was led the start with 13. The next closest player to him was 7 for Redden, 6 for Shuey, 5 for Cripps, Stevens, Dullhouse, and Atkins. Now to the hitouts we go, 22 for Stanley, 18 for Williams, and Blitzarves, 9 for Jamieson, 3 for Tomahawk. Now to the team stats, where the Cats did go inside 50 11 more times than the Eagles, resulting in a better and higher score. But the Eagles did restrict the team to 81, which was really good for where they've been at this year. And anything else looking great? The Cats did take more marks inside 50, resulting in that better. Resulting in that better sort of area and better set shots, better scoring. The Eagles led for a minute, and the Cats led for 105 minutes. They led for the majority of the game, did the Cats, but the Eagles were always within touching distance. They never let this game go, and they fought and to put up a really good fight to only lose by 18 at Optus Stadium. Well, now to Saturday night footy, where we go to Giants Stadium for an absolute ripper. Combined score of 230 in this game saw the Dogs take on the Giants. GWS 16-9, 105, lose to the Western Bulldogs 19-11, 125. What a ripping game, though. And there was some really big moments, which I'll be going over them in a minute. But this game was goal for goal, really. I really liked it. It was a high-scoring game. And you just don't see that a lot in the modern game right now. And there was some really big moments. And I'll be going over them shortly. And the Giants really did stick up a fight. But this does show where the Dogs are at. And they needed to win this game to try and make finals. And that's exactly what they did. They didn't disappoint their fans. But it was both teams that really had this the stunning first quarter. Although the Dogs were the team that got off to the quickest start, the Giants had to restrict it back late to be just down by 3 points at the first break. And then the second quarter was pretty similar. Both teams did well, except again the Doggies winning that quarter. The third quarter, the Giants built momentum to actually lead in that third term. Then the Doggies just kicked 1, 2, 3 goals, 3 really quick goals as well. To get started, they kicked 3 really quick goals to get their margin back out to 18 points, and then they kicked 2 more late in the quarter, which really dealt the knockout blow for the Giants. It was hanging around 30 points, stayed there at 3-quarter time, and the Giants just couldn't do enough. They did have a decent last quarter to bring the margin back to 20. But again, they just couldn't do enough to take the win. And there were some really big moments, like Jack McRae, 37 disposals, 9 tackles, 148 fantasy. Toby Green, 7 goals. This game had a lot in it. McRae, 148 fantasy, 134 for Green, 114 for English, 107 for Dunkley, 105 for Cornelio, 102 for Treloar, 101 for Green. 99 for Whitfield, Himmelberg, Liberatore, and then Bontempelli, of course, 93 for him. Goals 7-2 for Toby Green. He was on fire. He had the chance to get 8 as well. 5 for Norton and Waitman. Impressive for them as well. Waitman, 5 first half goals as well, even better. And then Hogan was still influential with the 3. 2 for Riccardi, Cornelio, and West. And now to disposals, we go 37 for McRae. He does it week after week after week. 32 for Cornelio and Green. 31, well that's Tom Green, 31 for Treloar. And 30 for Whitfield. 28 for Bontempelli. 27 for Dunkley. 26 for Libba. 25 for Daniel and Dale off the half back line. 23 for Ward and Himmelberg. So now to the marks, we go 8 for Kennedy. 7 for Riccardi, Hogan, Himmelberg. 6 for Green. Branzer, Keith, Liberatore, English, Waitman, Shaki, and Norton. Now 2 tackles, 9 for McRae, 8 for Dunkley, 7 for Kelly, 6 for Shaki, 5 for Tanner Bruin, and lots of players on 4 hitouts. 34 for English, 24 for Keith, 13 for Bruce, 5 for Himmelberg, 3 for Spreyer, and Shaki, 2 for Jamari Hagan, and just the 1 for Aaron Norton. Now to team stats we go, where the Dogs did go inside 50 more times than the Giants, only +5, however, in that area. Both teams were relatively efficient by kick as well, 79-74. Hitouts and the clearances were in favour of the Doggies, however, hitouts in the Giants' favour. The Doggies did take way more marks inside 50, 12-19, than the Giants. The Doggies did lead for most of the game. And the Giants were always down by a part. They were always in the game, but they were just falling out of favour towards the end. But the Doggies were just too strong. They were always in it, the Giants, but yeah, this game was a ripping game. They were always in it, but the Doggies just the better of the sides on Saturday Night Footy. Alright, well, to Metricon Stadium we go, where the Gold Coast Suns 18-8, 116 were way too strong for the young Adelaide Crows, 10-13, 73. It's been a bit of a trend with the Adelaide Crows. They've been inaccurate in the past few weeks, which has cost them games. It did cost them against St Kilda, and it also proved costly against Geelong. And not only that, but they've just been struggling when it's come to the scoreboard. 10-13 again today is another prime example of that. It just can't be happening. They do need to stop it somehow. They need to be getting more accurate. And the Gold Coast Suns, it was just a final quarter blitz where they banged on 8 goals. But it wasn't just that. Also, the second quarter was where they dealt damage. But anyway, it was the first quarter, all dedicated to the Adelaide Crows. They were winning the clearances in that quarter. And then the Suns, you see that right there. I'm not sure if you can see that first up part where they bring back the margin. But yeah, that was within the first 15 seconds of the quarter, which sent alarm bells ringing. And then the Suns kicked the next 6 of the quarter to be up by 20 or around 20 at the main break. And then the third quarter, the Crows do wrangle back momentum, having the better of the quarters. And they do bring it back. And then in the final quarter, they come back to 19 points. And then the Suns just kick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals in the end. So the Crows 1 goal after that 19-point deficit to win the game. And the thing was with the Suns is that, yes, the Crows were coming back in the last quarter. And they did bring it back to 19 points. And it looked like they were going to be a chance. But what the Suns did so well was they stayed controlled, and this is also their highest score versus the Adelaide Crows as well. But what a season they're putting together, and there's definitely a chance for finals for Gold Coast. 42 disposals for Laird, though. He was the highest possession getter on the ground. 3 goals for Ainsworth, 124 fantasy, 4 Rory Laird, 11 tackles for Matt Rao. But yeah, the Suns, they were just a much better team. The Crows weren't much of a chance in this game, but they did have they did put in the effort, but again, just not good enough in this one, and inaccuracy did cost them, but the Suns were just the better side. 124 fantasy for Rory Laird, 118 for Dawson, 106 for Anderson, who was actually pretty good, and also Matt Rao ends up on the same number, 106 for him as well. 101 for Crouch, 96 for Berry, 94 for Walker, 91 for Rowe, and of course there you know who does it, Tuke Miller, 90, 87 for O'Brien, 85 for Rankin. Now to goals and behinds we go, 3 for Ainsworth, and Rankin and Casbolt and Scholl. You can just see there, that's where the story is told for Adelaide's day. 4 players from Gold Coast kicking 3 goals. Ainsworth was everywhere, as too was Rankin, as too was Casbolt, and as too was Scholl. You just couldn't stop him, and there was multiple times where these players just walked into an open goal. Flanders got 2, as did Holman, and Fogarty was the only multiple goal scorer for the Adelaide Crows. Walker, it was sent in his direction a lot. He got the 1 goal, 3. Disposals, 42 for Laird, 32 for Dawson, 31 for Crouch. So the 3 highest ball getters on the ground were Adelaide. 28 for Anderson, 27 for Keys, 25 for Haitley and Berry. Miller, not his normal self, he only got the 24, as did Jimmy Rowe with 24 too. Now to marks we go, Paddy Parnell, 10. He's been pretty impressive, and he had a moment where he really dashed off. 8 for Walker, 7 for Rowe and McAdam. And Duday, 6 for Ellis and Dawson. Now to tackles, 11 for Rhea, 7 for Crouch and Berry, 6 for McAdam and Laird, 5 for Miller and Walker. Now the hitouts we go, 39 for Witts, 33 for O'Brien, 3 for Walker, 2 for Scholl, 2 for Thilthorpe, 1 for Fogarty. And there you have it. Will Hamill also kicked his first AFL goal in this game. But the Crows had a lot more disposals than the Suns. The handballs, it does do them in. I'm not sure if you've watch the Adelaide Crows play, but when you do play, they just do handballs. They handball way too much, I reckon. They only had 211 kicks. They had 195 handballs. It's just too many handballs. And it always finds out, just the 1 too many handballs, and it just doesn't work. And then they give the ball back to the opposition, who can go inside 50. And the Suns win the inside 50, 62-44. And then they won the free kicks 30-22. And then nothing else looking that great so far. The Crows actually did take more marks inside 50, but were wasteful inside 50 like they have been in the past time. And the Suns did lead for the majority of the game, and rightfully so. They always had a pretty decent gap on the Adelaide Crows, and they really hurt them late. What a game by Gold Coast. It keeps their finals hopes alive. And this is a massive win. They had to try and deal damage to the Crows, and they do that by winning by 43. So we go back to Thursday night, where Richmond 81 got over Carlton 66. St Kilda 72 lost to the Bombers in a shock upset 107. The Port Adelaide got over the Swans 82-59. The Cats overcame a really tough West Coast side, 81-63. The Dogs got over the Giants 125-105, and the Suns smashed the Crows 116-73. So now the byes for this round, they were Brisbane, Collingwood, Fremantle, Hawthorn, Melbourne, and North Melbourne. But every team, though, the good thing is that every team is going to be back in action next round. So you're going to be like, what is next round? Well, I'll actually tell you, this is a big next round. Melbourne versus Brisbane, second versus first on the Friday night. Then the Friday night games, 10th versus 14th, the Doggies and the Hawks. 18th versus 16th, the Bombers and the Eagles. The Blues and the Dockers, 5th versus 3rd. The Cats and the Tigers, 4th versus 6th. The Swans and the Saints, 7th versus 8th. Big game, big Saturday games. North Melbourne versus Adelaide, 17th versus 15th. Collingwood versus GWS, 9th versus 13th. And Port Adelaide versus Gold Coast, 12th versus 11th. Some really big games coming up next week. With the footy, there's some really big games. I reckon if there's a certain day to keep your eye on, it is definitely Saturday, 5th versus 3rd, 4th versus 6th, 7th versus 8th. And also Melbourne versus Brisbane should be a blockbuster on Thursday night. Of course, it'll be 1st versus 2nd squaring off, and the winner gets the advantage over the other. And if the Dockers do win against the Blues, they'll join the winner of Melbourne versus Brisbane. And if Brisbane win, well, that does put back Melbourne a lot. And then if the Cats win, the loser of Melbourne-Brisbane will be equal with them if the Cats beat the Tigers. Otherwise, if the Tigers win, they'll go equal with the Cats. And maybe even the Blues if they lose to the Dockers. There's a lot going on in the top 8. Sydney and St Kilda, there will be a winner of that game, which will advance. Collingwood, they must win against the Giants to try and be putting pressure on these teams in the top 8. And the Bulldogs and the Suns must win to try and lock the power out. If the Suns win, the power season is over. And the Doggies must try and also get a win to try and stay in touch. How about this race into the top 8 and top 4? It is amazing. It is fantastic. It is a very interesting race, and I reckon you'll need 13 wins to get in this year. 13-9 is the record you'll need, or 13-8-1 if you're counting draws. So that is going to wrap us up for another match reviews. Really big though. Really big round. The byes are all over. Round 15. We're back to a full round. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys in the next another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.